Today, we have a very special webinar prepared for you, which is about Cosmos. We are going to delve deeper into what Cosmos ecosystem is really about. How is this blockchain different from others? What are some of the key technologies that it is bringing into the market? And many more things. We're going to start in a minute. Okay, so we can start our Cosmos 101 webinar. So first, before we even start talking about Cosmos and what it is about, I would just like to quickly introduce you to the organizer of this webinar, which is MetricsDAO. Myself, I am a education lead at MetricsDAO, and at Metrics, we are constantly shipping a lot of different kinds of webinars and courses for you guys. But most importantly, we are a very strong community of Web3 data analysts. And we, as a community, are focused on providing Web3 organizations with on-demand data insights and tooling. Every one of you can get involved in our Web3 data analytics programs as well as analytics challenges. So you can get involved by sourcing questions, answering them, or reviewing others. So we are a very strong community here at MetricsDAO where we are focused on knowledge sharing and mentorship so that every one of you can grow as a Web3 data analyst if that's what you want. But if you want to grow in a different career field, we also have opportunities and programs for all the different backgrounds that you are from. So, for example, we do have a bunch of ecosystem courses on Ethereum, Algorand, and we soon will be launching other courses that I will be sharing with you in a moment. We're as well organizing a bunch of different free webinars like today to educate you on the different ecosystems. So then that after weeks of going through our webinars, you can really have a good understanding of those ecosystems. So we are currently organizing webinars every Monday and every Wednesday. So you're welcome to join. We'd love to see you in the upcoming webinars as well. Right. So let's start with our Cosmos webinar for today. But before we do that, I just wanted to quickly introduce you to the attendance form that would be amazing if you all fill in, because with that attendance form, you will get access to the community, you'll get access to specific channels, as well as receive X metric, which is then going to open up opportunities for you to be participating in the community. So would really, really encourage you to fill in the form that we're going to share in a chat in a moment. We also have a lot of amazing stories from our past graduates of the programs that actually have landed full-time jobs in the crypto space or even became contributors in the DAO. But what about you? What is it really that is special about you? What is the background that you're coming from? We'd love to hear who is in the audience and just to get to know each other a little bit better. So would love to We'll love you to share in the chat what's your background and where you're coming from. Okay, so enough about MetricsDAO. Let's delve into today's topic, which is Cosmos ecosystem. But even before that, there is something that I'd like to introduce you to. Maybe you've heard of this term interoperability. Interoperability is an incredibly important term for the blockchain space. Because if we want to really bring blockchain and this Web3 space as a whole to the mainstream audience. If you really want it to grow, it is important that different blockchains can communicate together and work together. Um, However, it has been a challenge so far. And it has been a challenge to develop for developers. It has been a challenge for users whenever they need to transfer any assets between different blockchains. So we've had things like blockchain bridges. So, for example, if you want to use blockchain A, but you only have tokens for blockchain B, then it can be a bit difficult and tricky to actually transfer tokens between those two blockchains. A lot of the times, it just leads to a lot of complexity, and it can also be very costly, time consuming, and ultimately really not friendly for the user. So if we are looking into bringing this blockchain space to the masses, this cannot be the case, and we do need to find better solutions. So how can we ensure that um, the different tokens can be transferred, or assets between the blockchains easily? This is the only way you can really onboard the masses. And how a lot of the people in the blockchain space say is that really the interoperability and cross chain kind of connectivity is really the future. So what Cosmos really brought here in the market is it tried to solve this problem on interoperability. Is it created systems for different blockchains to communicate together, and for developers to even create their own blockchains using their developer toolkit. So Cosmos calls itself the Internet of Blockchains, and this is the ecosystem that we're going to be looking into today. So first, we can jump into just the timeline and seeing, how this Cosmos ecosystem has evolved and developed. So the early days of Cosmos actually started in 2014 with the creation of Tendermint, which essentially is a new proof of stake consensus mechanism. So most of the blockchains, I'm not sure how much from you are familiar with the different consensus mechanism, they will use proof of stake. However, a lot of the times they will also have their own kind of twist there, and they will add some of their own technologies to make these proof of stake mechanisms work better for their specific use cases. So Cosmos has developed the Tendermint mechanism that we're going to be looking into later today. Then in 2016, they launched their white paper, and then they raised 17 million in their ICOs to develop the protocol. And then in 2019, so 3 years ago, they officially launched the network, and that's when we've started seeing all the different Cosmos applications coming up. So the founders of the blockchain are two software engineers, very talented software engineers, Jake Wan and Ethan Buchman. And essentially, when they just launched Cosmos, they first actually started with like the Tendermint, which is like a company that incorporated in the US. And then they also created Interchain Foundation, which is essentially a Swiss-based nonprofit, which is kind of focusing on Cosmos development. So how a lot of the times these blockchains will start, they will start from a very centralized way, and then they will decentralize, and then giving power to the users through different governance mechanism to actually shape the future of the blockchain. So now we see that there's actually a lot of really, really important governance activity happening, and many users are proposing the changes to the Cosmos network, and it has decentralized tremendously over the past few years since its inception. So now let's just look into the overview of what really is important to understand here about Cosmos. So there is the Tendermint consensus algorithm that we mentioned here that they have developed, but also very, very important key piece here is the inter-blockchain communication protocol, which essentially there's a protocol that allows this interoperability to happen, for the Cosmos to be able to call itself the Internet of Blockchains. Also, it has its own token called Atom, and at the moment there's over 266 apps and services running on Cosmos that also have their own blockchains. So we also have hundreds of blockchains that are running at the moment using the Cosmos network, as well. There's over 76 billion assets worth of assets under management at the moment. So Right. So essentially, for the blockchain to be able to provide sovereignty and build an ecosystem of modular, adaptable, interchangeable tools, which is really important for every blockchain, they are using this thing called Tendermint Core. So again, when you hear saying this Tendermint name mentioned again, and another thing to like or other terminology to understand here about Cosmos that we're also going to be looking into later today is that each blockchain that is developed on the Cosmos or each application, it's called a zone. Um, and the idea here is to connect other blockchains by expanding their functionalities and improving efficiency. So this is really the core and the key piece of Cosmos is how can we actually create, like create these mechanisms for people, for developers to create chains or that are called zones. And how can we then connect those zones? And how can we also doing so expand the functionalities and efficiency of the whole network? So the consensus algorithm that has been developed by Cosmos is actually incredibly efficient. It's incredibly fast, cheap, and it allows to process up to 10,000 transactions per second, which is incredibly high. And if you look into how fast transactions are processed in other blockchains, it's actually much, much faster. So it's really incomparable to many other blockchains that are there in the market. But however, there is one trade-off. So I don't want to be all just positive here because it does mean at the moment that we do have only 150 validators validating this consensus protocol, whilst in some of the other blockchains, they are to become a validator. It's easier. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of tokens, and it ensures more decentralization. But Cosmos is working on that, and there will be more opportunities to become a validator in the future. Right. So we said that Cosmos has its own token. And a token is a really important part of any blockchain, including Cosmos. So at the moment, the way the token is used in Cosmos is to pay network fees when transferring assets or interacting with applications. It's used to stack the Bionic Atom in order to earn block rewards while securing the network, as well as participate in governments and vote on proposals. So we actually touch upon very briefly at the very beginning that Cosmos is decentralizing and it's giving power to its users to make actual decisions to create proposals and vote on proposals. And in order for the users to be able to vote on those proposals and shape the future of the protocol, they would have to own Atom. And with that Atom, then they can make those decisions. So there's actually been two stages of the way Atom has developed. And actually, before just as of like a few months ago, we had Atom 1. So Atom 1 essentially meant it was kind of created in order to really solve the tension and security between proof of stake network. So essentially, what they've tried to solve is that if you want to ensure the security of the network, you need to stake a significant amount of the token. But this also means that if a lot of the tokens are staked in the market, then there is a lot of liquidity cost, meaning that there's not many coins available in the market. So essentially what they did when it comes to the issuing of the node tokens is that if the amount of stake went below the target, the interest rate would go up. If it was the other way around, then it would go down. So essentially that's how they were controlling the issuance rate, how much and how frequently the Atom is staked, and to ensure that the liquidity stays at a good rate. But then really recently, actually just a few months ago, there has been an introduction of a new mechanism called Atom 2.0. And here the kind of the purpose is to make it more desirable and useful in the ecosystem. And there's a few different things that have been introduced by Atom 2.0. We are not going to be looking into each one of them separately. We are going to have a Cosmos 101 course available for you for free in a few weeks. That's going to delve deeper into these different aspects of Atom 2.0. Today is just the idea is to introduce you to different concepts and raise your curiosity in exploring Cosmos further. So some of the 4 things that it has been introduced by Atom 2.0 is interchain security, liquid staking, interchain schedule, and interchain allocator. So don't worry about not being able to kind of understand these, because again, we will be having this information more available in the course. So when it comes to the different phases of the Cosmos project, so it really started in 2016 when the white paper was launched. So this is when really that conceptualization has started, when the testing has started, and then it was officially launched in 2019. So what developers really tried to do, and the founders really tried to do when they were developing the blockchain, is looking how can we actually change the landscape of blockchain design by creating these interchain mechanisms. How can we actually ensure that these mechanisms can communicate together? So they launched proof of the consensus mechanism called Tendermint that we have looked into. Then they also launched Cosmos SDK, IBC that we're going to be looking into in a moment, as well as the Cosmos Hub that again will be part of this presentation later. But these are some of the key technologies that Cosmos has innovated, that had not existed in the market before. And because it has not been tested before, they had to go and test it, both technologically to ensure that it works, but also to see, if there is a need in the market for these technologies and if they actually have a good use case. So they actually tested all of these technologies, spoke a lot with the users, got a lot of feedback and proposals on how these technologies can be improved. And then they fully finished this stage in September 2022. So just a few months ago, they actually said, okay, now we have these technologies tested. We know it works. We know and are sure that we want to be pursuing and continuing developing these technologies in the future. And now we want to move from this really heavy, testing stage of these technologies, and we want to move into integration stage. Which is the stage we are at now, which is going to last for quite a few years now to come. And here, the integration phase of Cosmos is focused on decentralized coordination, changing the direction and the role of the Cosmos Hub. With new features such as interchain allocator and scheduler. So also here, when it comes to decentralized coordination, the point here is how can we actually decentralize the current decision making of Cosmos? How can we create better systems for coordination and for governance to empower users to be the ones that are creating the future of the blockchain instead of the leaders and the founders of the blockchain being the ones at the front end of making all the decisions. So some other improvements that have happened in the network recently is we had actually a huge 20 million venture fund that has been created in order to boost development activity, because obviously the thing with blockchains is that they really have to focus on how can we actually create opportunities for developers to develop on the blockchain. How can we provide them, good developer frameworks and tooling? How can we also providing the funding in order to build those applications, because it's really important. The development activity is high and the developers are incentivized to build on the network. So as well, Cosmos has been really be focusing on that. And also then the IBC protocol that we're going to be looking into in a moment was activated, which also has actually had a big influence in overall how the DeFi is working in the blockchain space. And then back in July, they actually launched their own DEX protocol that enabled DeFi across multiple chains, which is also a huge innovation, not only in Cosmos, but overall in the blockchain system. Because again, here, we're not just what Cosmos is doing is not just innovating Cosmos, it's innovating the whole blockchain ecosystem. And really bringing innovations that had not been possible before its inception. Right, so we actually touched really briefly upon Cosmos Hub. So let's just look into what it is, because it's a very big part of the way the Cosmos ecosystem is currently operating. So essentially, Cosmos Hub can be seen as a service provider to the different chains that exist in the network. When we say chains in Cosmos, we say applications, because applications are chains by themselves. This is a huge difference from the traditional blockchains, and that's why I really wanted to emphasize that. Chains, Cosmos equal decentralized applications. So it's the service provider that connects these different chains so that they can be interoperable. So essentially, it's secured by over 3 billion in digital assets, swaps, and pools between any connected blockchains. So it's very, very interesting what it does and how it connects actually these different blockchains together. So it's called the hub, and I think it's quite an accurate description of what it is about and what role does it play in the Cosmos ecosystem. Also, we looked quickly into the Tendermint. So we saw the Tendermint is actually a few things. Tendermint, we have the Tendermint proof of stake algorithm, but also Tendermint has been like the kind of the initial company that even started Cosmos development activity. And also it has this thing called Tendermint Core, which is a proof of stake governance mechanism. So this mechanism essentially helps to keep all the blockchains or zones run in sync with the Cosmos Hub. Here again, I'm bringing actually zones. So in addition to calling decentralized applications blockchain and Cosmos, again, we can also call them zones. They're three words, which sometimes make it a bit confusing for new people. So that's why I just want to keep emphasizing that, because this is not something maybe you've actually seen or heard before. Right. So, but really, really key, you mentioned that Cosmos has brought to the market, and really, it's the mechanism that allows these blockchains to communicate together, is inter-blockchain communication protocol. So it allows information to travel freely and securely between the zones, or we can call them decentralized applications, or we can call them blockchains. So essentially, we can use this protocol to cheaply and instantly and securely exchange assets and data across these different blockchains in the network. Also, it allows transmission of secure messages, coded messages between the different blockchains, and connects those blockchains to the Cosmos Hub. Okay, so we have now where the hub coming in. So it's all interconnected, all the different blockchains, and on the Cosmos Hub, they're all connected through this inter-blockchain communication protocol. So really, you can also look into it like as a leash, or like kind of a rope connecting all these things together and holding them all together. So it's a very, very important piece that really makes which allows interoperability to happen in the Cosmos blockchain space. Right. So when we look into the zones, or again, these different the centralized applications, so each zone is connected by a hub. So in the Cosmos ecosystem, every zone will be connected to a hub through the IBC framework that we just looked into. And then these hubs are also connected with other hubs. So that's how the network actually is. So we have the zones, we have the hubs, have the main hub, which is the Cosmos Hub. There's also some other hubs that we do have connecting the different zones. So that's how the network actually is working together. Another kind of technical framework that has been brought by Cosmos. So if someone is called intermittent descending fault tolerance protocol, and essentially it's It's essentially for developers. So when developers are using these Cosmos development tools, through using this BFT protocol, they can build blockchains without coding them from scratch. So this is what this BFT protocol allows them to do. So I don't know how many of you are developers, but if you are interested in actually developing on Cosmos, what specifically that would entail here is that Cosmos is developing on Cosmos is developing your own blockchain. So if you are interested in building your own blockchain, you can do that. But for this, it's good to know Rust and then also Go. So these would be the two main languages that are involved in the kind of that are required in order to build software. So Cosmos team has built a very extensive software development kit as well as documentation that is completely available online for free for developers to use so that they can actually build those different zones or blockchains or dApps. Again, these words are interchangeable, faster, simpler, and cheaper, and ensuring that as well it's a good experience. And yeah, so that's what's like to build on Cosmos. But if you actually want to build your own blockchain, there's also one specific tool called Starport that has launched, which essentially makes it even easier to build these centralized applications and to actually use the Cosmos documentation and use the different development tools that Cosmos has created. Right. So we're actually going to look right now more into like the different tooling or the different important projects that actually has been created in the Cosmos ecosystem over the past couple of years. Again, we're still really new with Cosmos. It's only 3 years old, and a lot of these exciting applications actually have only been launched in the last couple of years. So we are still incredibly early, and there's still so much space for things to be developed for Cosmos. So just wanted to emphasize that, just because that we are really early, and what we're seeing here is just the result of the last couple of years of work. So essentially, one of the important projects here that we have at Cosmos is called Emeris. So basically, Emeris, what it does, it allows to transfer and trade assets between 12 different chains, and that's actually been the first time being possible in a decentralized exchange. So it really aims to be that one-stop portal to provide integrated wallet and multi-wallet support and access multiple DeFi trading platforms, staking on multiple chains, and also mobile wallet apps. So it really has not been created before, nothing like that. And with Cosmos having this technical capability to connect different blockchains, one of the use cases or one of the big things that it's focused on is how can we actually now use this capability to actually create tools and DeFi protocols that will allow different blockchains to be communicated together, and to be able for us to be able to have assets and in one place. And move those assets in one place without needing to go to, through many different tools, which is a lot of times the case right now, and makes the user experience very complicated and just not efficient. So on a Meris platform, what you can do is you can actually see your portfolio in a visual way, can manage your assets, and do some other exciting things. So they are going to also be implementing a lot of the new features soon. Another important aspect or important tooling that is important to kind of be aware of if you do want to do anything on Cosmos is Kepler. So Kepler is the wallet. So maybe you have MetaMask. If you have been using Ethereum tokens in the past, but if you want to be using specifically tokens on Cosmos, you do need this Kepler wallet. So actually, when you would install the wallet, it's going to be a browser extension, and there you can actually see the different blockchains. And for each blockchain, every blockchain will have its own token. So there are certain exchanges that you can use in order to transfer from Atom to these different tokens. But yeah, since the thing here is that since all these different applications have their own blockchains, they will also have their own tokens. So Kepler just kind of brings these different blockchains together, and you can just have all the different all the different tokens that you have from different blockchains in one place. Another important project that has developed in has been developed in the Cosmos ecosystem is called UMI. And UMI's vision is to onboard the 200 trillion global debt markets on the blockchain. So what's focused on is expanding DeFi activities between Cosmos and Ethereum, while introducing additional compatibility with other protocols. So UMI's key mission here is how can we actually connect Cosmos with Ethereum, and specifically when it comes to the DeFi applications. And another one, which is super, super interesting as well, and it has been a project that actually has really innovated the market, is it's Akash. And Akash essentially aims to be the world's first decentralized cloud. So it's essentially an open network that lets users buy and sell computing resources securely and efficiently. So it's a very, very interesting project, and it has a lot of potential use cases and potentially really, really bright future that can really innovate the way we will be storing data, and even selling that data. Another important project that has been developed in the Cosmos ecosystem is called Osmosis. So Osmosis is an automated market maker. So this is a terminology that maybe have been familiar not with or not. We have seen automated market makers, or sometimes they would be referred to as AMAs. AMMAs, yeah, in different blockchains too. But essentially, what automated market maker is it uses a ratio of two tokens in the pool to determine the price of the token. So it actually has only launched quite recently, but one of the key innovations that it actually has introduced to the market, and which makes it really also exciting, is the gravity bridge. And here it enables trading for Ethereum-based assets as well. So it's again a project that will allow interoperability with the Ethereum network. So what Cosmos does when we're talking about interoperability, we're not just talking about interoperability between the different blockchains that are based or built on Cosmos. We're talking about the overall interoperability, because Cosmos is aiming to connect as well with other blockchains and create these mechanisms that allow users to be able to easily transfer assets not only within the Cosmos network, but in the whole blockchain space in general. So looking into the deeper Cosmos ecosystem, we actually have seen a bunch of really exciting applications. Like most of the blockchains, Cosmos is really much focused on DeFi space, and looking specifically in how can we actually create these DeFi protocols that would allow multi-chain assets to be easily transferred. Also, it has a bunch of exciting infrastructure solutions, cloud solutions that we even looked into, as well as wallet providers, like Kepler being the main one, and even a few music and gaming and NFT frameworks that have been developed that we can look deeper into later. But we also had even a couple of social medias that are popping up. So we're still really, really early, but a lot of these projects, so, again, Cosmos itself is really new. All of these projects are really new, and a lot of them actually have not really been properly developed yet, and then just are in very, very early stages. But there's a lot of really exciting projects in the market that are coming up. So if you're interested, you kind of look into the different, things that are out there, explore these applications. The best way to understand the blockchain, how it's all operating, is to actually interact with the blockchain. So do download the wallet, do look into osmosis and other protocols. Maybe if you're interested in music and gaming and NFTs, you can also look into the different solutions that are out there and play with them. Do try to transfer Cosmos tokens and just interact with this blockchain. So that will also give you a good way to understand how it is different from others. And from your own user experience, you will then know, okay, I like this more than, for example, how it was built in Ethereum or how it was built in Avalanche. So that's a great way to really get your hands on the Cosmos ecosystem. But when it comes to the future and like where we're heading really, so actually in the Q1 of 2023, Cosmos will be focusing on ensuring a better interchain security, further developing its IBC framework, as well as focusing more on Cosmos SDK uh, solutions, which will then improve the developer experience and ensure that there is more capabilities and what can be done with the network. Also, there is going to be a lot of focus on onboarding even more blockchains to be building in the Cosmos network and incentivizing the developers to do so, as well as connecting non-Cosmos ecosystem blockchains with the Cosmos network through the different ways we actually have even seen today. Also, there's going to be more focus on interchain accounts, interchain security, liquid staking, and expansion of the DeFi, as well as even NFT ecosystem. So NFT ecosystem is still quite small in Cosmos, and there's going to be a lot of exciting projects coming up in the future. And another thing that I'd like to add here is that Cosmos is a decentralized it's an organization that's focused on decentralization. Decentralization not only in technology, but also in governance. So if you are interested in actually getting involved in the Cosmos ecosystem and actually shape the development of it, you are more than welcome to through the different governance mechanisms that they have created. So we will not go into this deeper today because we just simply don't have time. But if you are interested in getting involved, we will be having this as part of our course that we will be launching in a few weeks. So this course will have more information about the different technologies that have been mentioned here, as well as different ways for you to get involved. So it's completely free, and we would love you to take part in it. And we'll actually share the link with you on how you can actually get involved. Right. So what's next? And what are some of the things that you can do right now? So there's a lot of things that you can do both with MetricsDAO and when we did Cosmos. So we're just going to look into these few things that are actually available. So first, I would really encourage you to fill in an attendance form that is going to be shared with you in a chat in a moment. So in this attendance form, you will find a question for your wallet address. So this is going to be not Cosmos wallet address, but your Polygon wallet address. So do ensure to insert this wallet address there, because This way, we can send you some tokens. So specifically MetricsDAO tokens called XMetric, which is then going to grant you special access opportunities within our organization. Also, we will be sending you a badge. This badge is going to allow you to essentially access our Cosmos chat that we have created for you. If you don't have that badge, it will be not possible for you to access this chat because we only want to keep the chat for the people that are genuinely interested in Cosmos and that have attended this webinar. It's a great space for you to ask questions, to further understand what's happening in the MetricsDAO be the first one to actually learn when the course is launched, and just in general, just interact with fellow Cosmos curious, share resources, and continue building your knowledge. We don't want you to just kind of leave after this webinar because we do believe that there's a lot of ways you can guys as well interact together, and there's also opportunities within our community. There's a lot of amazing people that are currently in our Discord server. Discord server is where we host our community. So please do, if you are interested, of course, in getting involved in the community, in actually continuing getting updates and communicating with your fellow classmates, then do join the Discord server and ensure to fill in the attendance form, which is going to be shared with you in the chat to actually get the badges. Right. Also, something that we do have other than the Cosmos ecosystem course and the webinar, we too will be launching a bunch of new courses coming in the future, like Solana, Near, Ethereum. So we currently have actually Algorand course available that you can check out. And also we will be launching Ethereum on Monday, so keep up to date with that. But what you can do actually, what I would really recommend you to do is to go over to blog.metricsdao.xyz, all courses, and there you will actually be able to register to all the different courses that we have available, including Cosmos. So, and if any of you are interested in delving deeper into the world of Web3 analytics, we do have both live and asynchronous programs. So we actually are launching our next cohort-based program end of February. So if you're interested, go to the website and sign up. Or if you are not able to learn live, then we also have an asynchronous course that you can already check out and start learning right now. And if any of you already have the skills of Web3 data analytics, we would really encourage you to participate in analytics challenges. This is also a great way for you not only to gain some experience, but to actually get some money, even because we will be rewarding some people that will be completing these challenges the best, and we will be rewarding them. So yeah, so if you're interested to get involved, we also have some exciting stuff with Cosmos ecosystem too that we are developing. So yeah, we'll keep you up to date. Just join our Discord server. Right. So thank you everyone for attending today. And also, Patrick, maybe you could share actually attendance form. So I would also be great if every one of you would be filling in this attendance form before you leave, since again, this is a very important way for you to access the channels. So yeah, so just let's wait for a moment. Yeah, but okay. So I think that the form is shared. So if you don't see that, do just give a shout in the chat. And other than that, like, are there any burning questions? I see actually some messages in the chat that I'm going to quickly read. That Ace is saying that Atom staking is really easy too. So if you're interested in staking Atom, so that's good to know. So also Ace is saying bullish on Cosmos long term, that you have a really exciting DeFi DX partnership. and will bring a lot of more users to the ecosystem. So yeah, so really, really exciting to hear you guys being bullish on Cosmos. Yeah, also if you want to share anything more that you found interesting about this presentation or about Cosmos, how you're planning to continue getting involved, do let us know in the chat. We would love to hear that. We even have Cosmos Haas here, who is actually from Cosmos ecosystem that is even watching this webinar. So like really, really excited to have you here with us as well.